Welcome back to Pandamonium, my Cities Skylines 2 Let's Play series. This is episode 2, where we'll be building out a nice little educational hub for our city, filling in the zoning and the empty spaces left behind by that frustrating zoning, and finally getting our budget in the green with our geothermal power profits. If you haven't seen episode 1, where we built up the foundation of our first town in Pandamonium, there'll be a link to the full playlist in the description. Before we get into the build, I just want to announce that now that we have mods available, I will be using mods in this series. Here is a full list of mods that I currently have installed, but I have no doubt this list will change over time, so I'll be putting all the mods I'm using in the description of each episode. Starting off with a little admin, thanks to Old Salty Possum's eagle-eyed comment on episode 1, we're fixing some quirky highway twists I missed while I was building the map. If you plan on playing along, I've fixed these up in the save files already, but if you've already started your city and have these issues, you can fix them by enabling developer mode, activating bypass validation results in the menu, opening the asset picker and finding highway 2-way-2 lanes, and simply upgrading these segments and everything should work just fine. With the introduction of the OnlyAdultTrees mod by Optimus-Code, I've realized that some of my trees may have been a little big for their respective areas, so I'll go in and fix that whenever I see it. It's quite difficult to plan around tree growth, but I think that will absolutely come with more time spent in this game. Let me know in the comments if you think this should be a mod that I use in this series or not. In anticipation of our soon-to-arrive educated workforce, our geothermal power plant is getting a major facelift. It's upgrade galore, and coupled with a budget boost, we should be able to boost profitability in the short term while we await their arrival. Let's switch gears to an exciting project I've been eager to share. Our brand new educational hub. It's going to be a cornerstone of learning and community in Pandamonium. We'll be kickstarting this with our primary school as a small guide in the centre, as I'm going to sit this back on its own one-way street, and include a high school and college off to each side, before adding dedicated parking for all of the students, as well as some nice detailing to make this feel like a comprehensive campus-type area that students of all ages can enjoy. We're actually unable to afford the college without a little outside help, so we'll go ahead and grab a loan and place that down, securing ourselves milestone 5, Tiny Town. That comes with a cool cash injection that we'll immediately use to pay back the loan we literally just took. With our new development points, we're going to invest in parking. I think it's long overdue, but we're going to save the rest of our points for now, as there's nothing that I'm really desperate to unlock just yet. Coming in with some detailing using the surface painter tool, we can make the primary school really fit into its surroundings and make it look like it was specifically designed to be there. Then we'll just come in with some trees and hedges to tie this entire campus up a little and make it feel a little more cohesive. I'm envisioning this spot transforming into the pulsing heart of our city, a bustling central hub where the vibrancy of urban life really comes alive. I'm thinking of public transport possibilities such as a metro station and maybe even a tram running down this main street, making a perfect little area for people to transfer between our different public transit options. For now, this area will have a few little market stalls as well as a custom little bus stop, but this area definitely has room for growth. I'll also mention that the bus depot definitely won't be permanently in this location. I just needed to add it for now to have access to bus stops. We'll come in and detail this later and make sure it isn't directly off our main street. And finally, we have the educated workers we need to run this geothermal power plant at optimal efficiency. So I'm coming in and adjusting the budget so that we're exporting as close to 400 megawatts as possible. Anything over that and our power lines running out of the city won't be able to handle the capacity, and anything lower will just be losing money for no good reason. While we're here, I'll also adjust some of our budgets back to their rightful capacities to make sure our citizens are as happy as possible, now that we're going to have a little bit of extra cash coming in. We can't make them too happy though. With free power and free water, I feel like they should be paying a little more in tax, right? It's only fair. With new district policies now unlocked, we're diving into the nitty-gritty of urban management. It's time to tailor our city's policies to better reflect our growing needs and aspirations. So we'll go ahead and separate our residential and industrial into two different districts. And I definitely need some name suggestions for these, so make sure to leave them in the comments. Our two districts will have very similar policies for now. We'll add in a parking fee for on-street parking, make them more conscious of their electricity use, and introduce some speed bumps to hopefully cut down a little on noise pollution. Seeing as we've already built the bus depot, it seems only fitting that we add in a bus line. This is going to be a fairly straightforward line, simply running down our main street and connecting the two districts so people have another way they can get to work. With a city this size, it's probably not necessary yet, but it's always good to plan ahead. I'd like to focus on our industrial zone a little more next episode, but for now, we'll be adding parking at our geothermal plant for the employees working there, and just give the area a little bit more life with some more trees. This is definitely something I want to make look good in the next episode, as it's quite literally the only large economic driver in this city. As Pandamonium grows, our main street does too. Right now, asymmetrical roads are a great option, but I can already see the need for grander changes soon. This is definitely something we'll need to be revisiting in the near future. We're officially a boomtown, milestone 6. There isn't really much I need in the development tree at this point, so I'll save them for now, but I do have my eye on some sewage treatment potentially soon, as well as maybe some disaster relief unlocks, so stay tuned for that in future episodes. If there's something I'm missing out on too, please do give me your suggestions in the comments. This is your town too. And it's time to zone. We'll be going with a bunch of zoning types throughout this process, adding in some of our first office buildings, some mixed-use commercial residential buildings, as well as a bunch more medium-density housing. I'll also be doing some detailing here and there mixed in with the zoning whenever I notice a big gap that I can't fill with development. I can't express to you how frustrating I find the zoning to be in this game sometimes, but I did find some useful tips along the way. One of the coolest ones is something that Cities by Diana mentioned in a video about extended road upgrades mod made by ST Apps, where you can upgrade your roads to be keys and it completely blocks zoning, allowing you to determine which roads the zoning falls on. The other main tip is to pay attention to where your residents actually want to live. For a while, I couldn't figure out why I wasn't getting any low-density housing in when there was clearly demand, and it was simply due to the fact that I was trying to place it in an area that I can only assume was already too built up and dense, making it not suitable. This is where the annoying overlays can really come in handy. Other than that, just try again until you either get something you're happy with or give up because it just doesn't want to play the game. This block in particular really gave me some troubles. I would bulldoze a house on the other side of the road and it would completely change my zoning. I ended up having to let these buildings grow in before I did anything on the other side of the street for this to work, but we did get there eventually. I noticed a few complaints coming in about noise pollution, so I've decided to run a sound barrier along the highway to try and help with this just a little, because these houses are incredibly close to that highway. I'm also adding trees anywhere I can fit them. This is for two reasons. The first is that it should also help cut down on some noise pollution. And secondly, I want this part of town to feel really quite dense and full. I don't like empty spaces, and I want this city to look as good as it can. I've never seen this before. I don't know if it's a weird bug introduced by one of the mods I'm running, or just a weird bug in the game, but my trees just started flashing for absolutely no reason. I managed to fix this by going into the advanced graphics settings and changing the MIP bias to 1, letting the textures load in and then bringing it back to 0. Seemed to fix the problem. Let me know if you know what caused this. And as we bring this episode to a close, it feels like we're just getting started with Pandamonium's story. Every episode is a new adventure, a step closer to realizing our shared dream city. In the next episode, we'll turn our attention to the industrial zone, infusing it with efficiency and aesthetics. But remember, this isn't just my journey, it's ours. So hit that subscribe button, join the adventure, and let's continue shaping this metropolis together. But until then, happy building.